Houchin, excuse me, my bad. Houchin Bindery booth here at Planet Comicon. And I'll be honest, I've been a lurker for many years. I've been following message boards online, and I've stopped by your booth a couple times over the past couple of years. You've been a fairly regular visitor to Planet Comicon the last several years. And today I'm ready to pull the trigger.
Excellent. Well,
I get my first collection back.
I did the same thing. I lurked for years, and then I met the president of the bindery at an Omaha convention. And I was like, I know this guy. I can send him my books, and he won't do anything wrong with them. You know? So that's what it took. That's why I come to the show. So.
Okay. Yes, Tim, and we've got Dave off camera. Manning a camera on mic. One of these days we'll learn the terms.
Yeah, we're still.
And we tell everyone up front we're the worst comic podcast ever. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
So
we're free.
All right. So for those listening at home, I have brought in the John Byrne run of Alpha Flight, issues 1 through 28, and you said you've got a couple in shop already.
It's a favorite. You can't buy them, in a trade or hardcover, and people like to read them, so it's a favorite to be bound.
Okay. What are some general rules regarding the binding? I think there's probably limits as to about how many issues you can get into a bind. I'm assuming that if you've got some in-house, that 28's a fairly safe number to work with.
My general rule of thumb is about 25 issues for modern comics. For an older comic, you can get away with even up to 35. But 2.5 inches is kind of the maximum you want to go with. Alpha Flight is 28 issues. Even if it was modern, you could stretch that and pull it off. So most people do Alpha Flight as one volume.
Good.
We've done a lot of things over the years: graphic covers, half binds, with mixing the cloth cover and the graphic, or the cloth spine and the graphic on the front and back. We do have a die stamp in-house for the spine of the book for the modern Alpha Flight.
Sure.
And a die stamp available for the older as well. So you can do a lot of stuff. But yeah, most people do 28 issues in one volume.
Okay.
And a lot of people will sew the books or center sewn, which we call the smite. But you can do any method with Alpha Flight because it's a pretty generous book when it comes to margin.
Okay.
So you really can choose any method and safely bind the books. And so double fan is a glue-based binding, least expensive. Probably the strongest binder, but we do it so often. The machinery is so well suited for it that it ends up being the cheapest.
Excellent. Okay.
Now, did you include any extras?
I didn't bring any extras with me. This was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing when I was packing up.
Because sometimes people will bring the first appearances of Alpha Flight in the X-Men issues, and they'll use the reprint comics to do that, so they're not wasting.
I thought about that, and I've got one of the original issues of X-Men, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to hold that off.
Yeah.
I'll just do these issues that was just all John Byrne. So.
And they're not necessary story issues.
Yeah.
So
no, they're not.
Absolutely.
I can still read them in the Masterworks of the Essentials. So.
Yeah.
So do you see center sewing these, Tim?
It's
the reason I mention that is that some of these are poorly manufactured through the years, and so it's not as forgiving. That one, if you see any with spine rolls, you might consider sticking with center sewing. For many years, we just did oversewn, and it was just fine. But it's usually the test. It's the test volume.
What it's referring to is if you look at the staples, that's a good guide of where the threads are going to go through.
Okay.
And what's with a glue bound, it's going to have to trim or grind that edge off, so you're going to lose all the way up to the staple.
Okay.
So where there's still content, when it says poorly manufactured, they're poorly folded, they're poorly stapled.
Sure.
So with the center sewn, you'll still have that content.
And the advantage of dealing with Tim, since he's a comic book guy also, is that if he comes across something like an issue that needs to be replaced, he can get it replaced for you, so you still come out with a good project. Because you don't want to. We're not ever going to say to you, oh, well, that's what you sent us, that's what you because we're comic book fans too, and if something's off missing something, because you'd be surprised sometimes comics get sent in and the center section's been torn out and you didn't realize it. Because maybe you collected it and you didn't read it carefully.
And I think that's a big thing that helps your business stand apart from the other binderies in the business, is that one, you're fully embracing the comic book aspect, and you've got the knowledge to do it right and proper the first time. And, to other places, it's just another job.
Yeah, it is just another job.
And you guys are looking at it more as a finished product and making sure that it goes out.
I've been with Documentary for about a year, just over a year now, and I was specifically brought on because of my knowledge of comics, of this market, and not just comics, but publishing, the kind of emerging markets. And so when I check the books in, I know what I'm looking at, and I know problems that might arise. I can send you an email and say, this might not be the best choice. Let's do this. And more importantly, when the book is done, our bindery is fantastic at binding paper together, and they're going to do a great job with the comics. But a lot of the problems come from, like Dave said, the check-in. What's the problem going to be? I can avoid that. And then on the flip side, checkout. When we do graphic covers, if you're not familiar with the comic form, you say, "Oh my, you're losing this precious art. Let's shrink it down," which our own company has done in the past because they didn't know what they were working on. I understand that that's there to be lost. It's a design feature. So I check every book in, I check every book out when it comes to a comic. There's an order sitting on my desk right now that I'm going to have to rush to a customer to make it to a convention because I won't let it leave without seeing it.
All right, and that leads to a next question: what kind of turnaround time does it generally take to get book from submission to back into?
Perhaps from my desk to my desk, 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
So it's a quick process. 4 weeks is generally when you're looking at a basic cloth book. 6 weeks when you start adding things like the graphic cover or die stamps. And I would do myself the service if I didn't say during the summer it is a little slower.
Sure.
We bind about 90,000 textbooks every summer, and that number has been much higher, much lower, depending on the year. So textbooks are kind of the big beast every
the
summer.
cash cow.
But I'm still there. I'm still working on them. So I still help push those comics through. And, 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the details of the book. So.
All right. So for a project like Alpha Flight, what kind of accessories or recommendations would you make for that?
It comes down to customer preference, but you've got the two main factors. You have cloth books, which, like this is a gold buckram. Very simple book, stamping and done in a number of colors can be done quickly.
Yeah.
You can do this. You can do a series of these books and put them in your bookshelf.
And they look incredible.
Yeah, and people think they're really smart and you read books, and little do they know.
Yeah.
Or you can go to a graphic cover where you have art fully wrapped all the way around. Those are really the two main factions. And for some people, it comes down to the preference of what they want on their shelf. Or if they're not skilled enough to do the design, they tend to just keep with the buckram. So one of the things I focused on in the year I've been in the bindery is how do we offer graphic services easily and affordably. And so we offer very simple graphic cover services where, I'll scan one of the comics and put an image of it on the front, put a title on the spine, $10, and it's done. You still have a nice looking book that's more modern.
Yeah.
And you can go up from there. We can do some more graphic work. A special we're doing at the convention this weekend was for $35 we do the binding, the return shipping back to you, and a full graphic design. Which to design a book of this, and I'm speaking off, obviously you're not seeing anything, but
we'll get some pictures.
This design would probably cost $50 minimum for me to design. we're pretty much doing that for free.
Excellent.
So, my suggestion to you, take advantage of that $35 deal and I'll design
Would love to.
the coolest Alpha Flight cover ever made. Or something close.
And where I'll come in and help, I've done about 10 different Alpha Flight covers, so I'll supply him the files and he can take elements from there as opposed to having to start from scratch. He'll be able to pull the characters already and create a design just for you guys.
Perfect. And unfortunately, with our podcast time, this is going to go out after Planet Comicon is over.
Oh, yeah.
But I see that you guys are going to go to C2E2 in Chicago in April.
We'll be in Chicago.
Okay.
And we're going to offer the same promotion.
Excellent.
So I suggest people bring the comics to the show. Then you don't even have to ship them in. We'll take them back with us. Take advantage of the promotion.
And before we ship the book back to you, do we have permission to take pictures of it for you?
Absolutely.
And shoot some video of it? And then
That'd be great.
Copy you on everything.
Perfect. And I'm on your mailing list already, the email list, so get the updates there.
Some of the other accessories, we didn't talk about is things like head and tail bands, ribbon, bookmarks. These are all completely optional. They don't have any, there's nothing with the integrity of the book. But
it's a finishing touch.
Well, yeah. And Alpha Flight deserves it.
I saw, and it made the rounds across the web and social media, you had the ROM project that really blew up, and that is a gorgeous looking edition.
Thank you.
I wish Marvel could work out the arrangements to get their own collection, but that is the way to do it if you've got the ROM issues at home.
It was a lot of fun to work with Chris Rao on those books, and on the message boards and kind of in the binding community, ROM is kind of a trial step. Everyone, what's it called? Everyone, you're not a real binder until you've done ROM.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I've never done a full blown. It's time to do it. So I kind of went all out.
But also tell them how you did Master of Kung Fu, which is another series.
Yeah,
that
was.
hasn't been
I saw that one floating around as well.
And
That was like a 5 or
Micronauts
6 line.
Yeah. So
the Micronauts also.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good series out there that haven't been collected properly
because of the licensing rights.
Chris is probably the biggest supporter and the loudest voice in Marvel's ear.
Yeah.
He wants to do something. He doesn't even care what it is, just something. So
do you have a bound edition of anything?
I do not. This is going to be my first.
Well, we're going to send you home with samples.
Okay.
So you can hold on to this while you're waiting.
All right. That'll be great. That'll be great. All right. Anything else you want to share?
No, I think, a lot of people lurk, a lot of people wait, a lot of people are hesitant to do that first order because they don't know what they're doing. And I'm very experienced, and I'm an email and a phone call away.
And you've got a lot of help files on the website as well. You've got instructions on completing the order and the message boards, the different comic forums. There are whole threads devoted to comic book binding, and there's, more than likely people know someone that has had something bound. So HouseandBindery.com, our comic page, just a couple days ago, it's been completely overhauled, updated with new information. We'll be posting pictures on a regular basis, so people will be able to see what the possibilities are, and they can say, hey, I don't know what I want, but I really like these, and we can go from there. And you're physically located in Nebraska?
Yes, just outside of Lincoln, Nebraska, in Utica.
Yeah, and that's centralized within the country, so it's quick turnaround getting things from one coast to the other.
And we also do international orders.
Even better.
So we ship to Australia pretty much every day, actually. So so we're a large facility able to do anything. We do much more than comics, obviously. So magazines, restorations, textbooks we're talking about. So we do it all. And I specialize in comics. I read them until I learn to write.
Perfect. Well, guys, we appreciate your time. We're going to turn the mics off so I can fill out my paperwork and let you guys get working on my Alpha Flight volume.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank
This
you.
was great.
Yeah, you bet. That was awesome.
Fun.
That was awesome.